So this is a video about now that you have your child has a diagnosis for ADHD. Now what? Now what do you do? So my recommendation is if you've done it privately outside of school, you bring the paperwork into the school and give it to them, and then they'll do their own assessment as well, and that will help guide the school and you to decide whether your child needs a 504 or an IEP or what is the most appropriate placement for them. And I would also just start to get really well researched in what ADHD is. You can read Bristol Barkley is a major science specialist around ADHD. Thomas Brown, Ned Hallowell. These are all people who have been in the space for a long time and have books and all sorts of resources. Jessica McCabe has a YouTube channel called How to ADHD, and they're little short videos, but they give little tips about what to do and how to help support and different strategies and tools you can use. There's also a website called ADDA, which I think they also have a magazine, but they'll send like articles to you once a day that you can read about different ways to support your child. There's CHADD, CHADD, and that's children, that's CH, and then the ADD is the ADHD part. And it's all about supporting kids with ADHD. I took classes through a place called ADCA, which is ADD Coaching Academy, and you can find, there's a class called Simply that you can take through them, and it's just a virtual class. And then Attitude Magazine and it's Attitude, ADD-itude magazine. And these are all resources you can utilize just to learn more, to try to get as much information about this as you can so that you can be the best support you can be for your child. When you do get a diagnosis, my recommendation is for the foreseeable future, each August or whenever school is going to start, put together an email as the mom or the dad, caregiver, and help. And as your child gets older, that's why I was stumbling on that. As your child gets older, they should really start to do this on their own. But you want to write the teacher and explain that they do have a diagnosis, explain what the diagnosis means, and how best to support your child. And not in a, you want to word it in a friendly, working as a team kind of way. But it does help a teacher to know. It really helps if my child is not seated by the window, or it's really best if you don't put my child next to their best friend Sam, because they'll talk all day long or whatever it is, right? And as your child maybe reaches 5th or 6th grade, you can start to write it with them so that they can start to take the ownership of that self-advocacy, because we want them, as they get older, to feel comfortable saying, this is what I need, this is what support, this is the learning environment that works the best for me and I feel the most supported in, so that they can continue to do that into their adulthood, because that's really important. Let me just look at my little notes here. And then with your child, just dig into and get curious about what works for them, what doesn't work for them. Are they a person who needs, a lot of stimulation in their environment? Is it better if they don't have stimulation in their environment? Do they need to exercise before they try to do their homework? Do they need to snack before they do their homework? Do they need to do their homework and then have a reward after? Just experiment with things and get curious about it, and without any judgment, because you might not be the same as they are, and that's okay. Another really great website to check out, especially with older kids, meaning, I don't know, probably like 12, maybe 10 and up. You could support them 10 and up. There is a website called VIA, Character Traits, and basically it is it's a little survey. It's like 60 questions that you answer, and it tells you what your top character strengths are. It's really interesting, and none of them are bad, right? There's no bad character trait, but it helps kids to sort of see what's special about them, and then you can work toward their strengths instead of toward their weaknesses. So let's pretend your child's one of their top strengths is creativity, and maybe the next top strength is social emotional intelligence. So great, you are good with people and you're super creative. So like, let's use that, right? So maybe if they're having trouble getting homework done, maybe they have a friend over, they get to do the homework together and then they get a play date. There's your social piece. If they're a really creative kid, maybe you figure out an interesting creative way to get their homework done, the really boring stuff, right? So you can use that to your advantage. Yeah, those are just a few thoughts around once you do get a diagnosis, how you can help support your child. And again, I have a ton of videos on my website, and feel free to check that out. It's www.katechasman.com. And I have videos, but then there's so many videos on YouTube that you can start to research and figure out ways to best support them. All right, thanks.